Sports time. It's time to talk some baseball, and joining us here from the Bergen Record is Andrew Gross. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Carl.
Yeah,
appreciate
seeing you around.
it.
I'm glad you came through. It's county time. You know, states are just getting underway, but we're in the thick of things in the county tournament.
Right.
Richfield, the 12 seed, they had a play-in game against Elmwood Park, and they just ran into a buzzsaw against Jared Forster.
Yeah, it was a really tough matchup for him, Jared Forster. If he's on his A game, it's really tough to score runs. And yeah, I mean, you saw by the result, Richfield could not score, but Elmwood Park only got one run. So I mean, it was one of those classic high school games that I really love seeing. You know, that type of pitcher's duel. The junior lefty just had everything going on that day.
Well, and you never know really if they're going to start the ace in the county tournament, because teams that make the counties and states, sometimes they want to save that ace for the states. Why do you think they pitch Forest area there?
Well, the pattern I've seen, especially among some of the smaller schools that don't have the pitching depth, you know, to kind of go both ways, is they'll start the race in the first round or in the playoff game, kind of get that first win in, and after they get their first county win, then they turn their attention to the state tournament, because they have a more realistic shot of winning that. So the ace usually gets one start, you know, in the county tournament, and then he's turned loose on the state tournament.
Well, too bad for Richfield. That was his
Yeah,
one start
exactly.
right there. We're now in the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals coming up on Saturday of the Bergen County Baseball Tournament. And this tournament boils down to what else? Don Bosco, the number one seed and the number one team in the country. Are they that good? Is Don Bosco that good?
Yeah, I was at a preseason scrimmage. They were playing Sparta in a preseason scrimmage, and my jaw dropped because 4 major league scouts were at a scrimmage, before the first pitch of the season had been thrown. So yeah, they're really good, and the other coaches, every single opponent I've talked to this year, is like, it doesn't matter what they do against Don Bosco, they just throw the results right out the window because they know they can't compete. This is a team that has 6 guys going to Division I, minimum. They're probably going to get more out of that group. They have a pitching staff that goes at least 5 deep. And you talk about it, I wrote this kind of in jest, but this is a team that could juggle a county tournament, a state tournament, and if you wanted to put them in a third tournament at the same time, they still have the pitching depth to handle all 3.
It's amazing. Well, the number 2 seed, St. Joseph Regional, they're not quite at Bosco's level, but are they maybe the one team that could challenge Don Bosco here?
Well, you would think so. Frank Salvano thinks this is his best team in years, and he's had some great teams at St. Joseph, and he kind of laments that, this is my best team, and no one knows about it because of Don Bosco. Now, they played that one game early in the season. Brendan Loban pitched for St. Joseph, and they got whacked. I think it was 15-0. But, Brendan wasn't really on his game that day. And the anticipation is if that St. Joseph gets another crack at them in the county final game, Loban is going to be able to have a more representative showing, and maybe they can keep the game closer. But I think everyone still expects Don Bosco to win a rematch there.
Are there any small schools, any public schools left that could do any damage here in the county tournament? Who do you think is maybe the best of the publics?
I like Old Tappan a lot because they got Alex Caravella, who if he's on his A game, Mark Zawinski, my colleague at the Bergen Record, just did a really good story about talking to Don Bosco opponents. What would it take to beat them? And it's going to take a kid pitching out of his mind on one day and just shutting down the Don Bosco bats, if possible. And Alex Caravella is one of those kids who could possibly do it. Tim Byron, the coach, obviously thinks he could.
Okay, it's prediction time. We've done it now with all the record guys that have come on, but this may be the easiest prediction of all. Who's going to win the county tournament?
You want to take a stab and be the genius who predicts who beats Don Bosco, but I've never said this before covering high schools. I don't think it's physically possible to beat this team just because they have the arms and their hitters are so advanced compared to the rest of the high school competition. So I think the more fun prediction is who finishes second. And the game I can't wait to see would be the semifinal, St. Joseph, Old Tappan, 2 and 3. That's going to be like the second county championship game. And I think St. Joe's will come out just on top of that and then lose to Don Bosco in the final.
All right. Well, it should be fun. Some great baseball to be played in the counties. And if you want to follow all the action, check out the Bergen Record, Andrew Gross's coverage. And you can also look at them online at northjersey.com. Facebook.com/Varsity Aces for their blog. Thanks for joining us, Andrew.
Thanks for the plug. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Stay tuned on Sports Time. See why there were more umbrellas than bats at the Bergen County softball tournament. We'll be right back.
Meeting